Hello class. Yeah, I know I need a shave. What I'm going to do on this video is part of the maintaining gardens, maintenance and establishment, and we're at a property where we're putting down a new lawn. So I'm just going to take you through the whole process of preparing the ground for turfing, and then later in the video it'll be the actual turfing. So this is what we're going to be turfing over. In between those slabs, we've just put down some metal edging. There's a nice curve down there, and we're just about to start the primary cultivation. Builders have used this garden as a bit of a store area. It's a little bit compacted, it's not too bad. It's only the first 2 or 3 inches that are compacted, so we are actually digging down just the spit of a fork just to loosen it down. Jules, one of the students on my course. You can see he's going down a spit step, breaking up the soil. So this is the primary cultivation that we're doing. And we've got to do this all the way through the garden. Just an aside for this job, normally we would bring in a 13 horsepower rotavator to do the hard work, and then we'd get a power rake to level it all off. But as part of your design session, we noticed that we can't actually get them into the garden, so that's why we're doing all the hand digging. Although tomorrow, when we start the second phase of cultivation, we will have petrol powered tillers. So this is where we are now, primary cultivation. Just got that little rectangle up there to dig out. So I've had a bit of a shave today, and we're back in the garden. We've done all the primary cultivations, and this is the result. Now we're just about to go over the primary cultivations with a handheld tiller. It's a petrol one, and we'll show you that when it's going. So we've finished using the still tiller. Now we're starting to do the soft shoe shuffle to consolidate and rake it level. I'll do this in sections and level it off as we go along, so any soil that needs to come off after raking we can just put in the barrows and put in the trailer. So we've shuffled all the ground now and we've raked it level, and we're just starting to put the turf down. We normally work off 2-foot boards. It's a lot easier than working off a scaffolding plank or a thin board, because you tend to kneel down. And if you're kneeling down on a scaffolding plank, then your toes are actually pushing the turf down. So we keep these 2-foot boards. You'll notice Jules has rolled that out now, and what he's doing is just tamping down the turf just to make sure it's got a good connection, and then we'll roll the boards onto that turf once we've finished that strip. It's important when you're turfing not to get any cross joints on the turf, and I know there's the thing about the perfect brick pattern where you're doing it. I don't think it needs to be a perfect brick pattern. Obviously you don't want any crossing joints, so whether you're using a half or a third of a turf to start off or finish, that's fine. You can waste a lot of turf if you're using just halves to create this brick pattern that we're using. So don't get too worried about that, just make sure that there are no crossing joints. So as you can see, we are moving on. You can see the use of boards. I use 6mm boards. The reason being is because as we're walking on the boards, the 6mm ones, they tend to just press the turf down and get the roots in contact with the soil. Another thing that we do is when we're handling turf, handle it very gently. It's quite fragile, and rough handling, you'll just tear them. So when you end up with little pieces like this, I tend to leave these to the end, see what we've got left turf-wise. I think it's pointless chopping up a whole turf just to cover that area. The other thing is, what I'd like to see is at least 30 centimetres. So we're going to cut that back. We'll cut that back to about 30 centimetres and then put a piece of turf in that fits that square. So here we go. Just doing the finishing touches now. Just turfing in between the paving slabs there. And that'll be the job done. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video, taking you from start to finish to laying turf. I look forward to seeing you all on the next video. Thank you very much.